Ready for a glimpse into the future of health.
I'm all ears. What do you have for us today?
Today we're diving deep into Bryan Johnson's bold vision, a future where living longer and healthier isn't some happy accident. It's the norm.
I've heard a bit about Johnson's work. Fascinating stuff. What's got you so interested in his vision?
Well, he really throws down the gauntlet, challenges a lot of conventional thinking. Most tech gurus, they're out there promising the fountain of youth, right? But Johnson's different. He built a tech empire, made his fortune, and then put his money where his mouth is. He's all in on cracking the longevity code.
For himself, and maybe for the rest of us, too.
Exactly. So we're going to unpack his ideas, the science behind it all, the opportunities, the potential pitfalls, the whole 9 yards. Because if Johnson's right, we're on the cusp of a revolution in how we approach health and lifespan.
And what better time than now to explore these ideas, right?
Absolutely. The future is closer than we think. And you know what really struck me? Johnson doesn't pull any punches. He comes right out and calls out what he sees as our collective delusion about this whole YOLO mentality.
Oh, interesting. How so?
He basically says it's a fast track to, well, not living your best life. Let's just say that.
Counterintuitive? Maybe. But I'm listening.
He compares it to a slow suicide. Think bad eating, skimping on sleep, always chasing the immediate gratification instead of playing the long game. These everyday habits that chip away at our health and potential.
It's like we're so focused on squeezing the most out of each day that we forget about all the days we hope to have ahead of us.
Precisely. And Johnson believes future generations, they're going to look back and shake their heads at the choices we're making today.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? Have we become too short-sighted in our pursuit of happiness?
It's a sobering thought for sure. But here's the thing, Johnson isn't about deprivation or restricting ourselves.
Right. It's about making choices that give us the most life, not just the most living, right?
Exactly. It's about maximizing the human experience. And this is where things get really interesting. Because Johnson believes technology is the key to unlocking this new era of health and longevity.
Okay, so we're talking AI, CRISPR, gene editing, nanobots, all that.
We're talking about AI, we're talking about bioengineering, manipulating the very building blocks of life. It's like we've stumbled onto the playground of the gods and we're just starting to figure out the rules of the game.
It's a pretty powerful analogy, but what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, for starters, it means moving beyond just treating symptoms. We're talking about tackling the root causes of aging and disease.
So not just extending life, but enhancing it, right?
Exactly. And get this, Johnson points to some incredible breakthroughs that are already happening, like the case of the young woman completely cured of type 1 diabetes with stem cell therapy.
Wow, really? So this isn't some far-off future we're talking about. This is happening now.
Right now. And it goes even further than that. Johnson himself is experimenting with stem cells to improve his own joint health.
He's really putting himself out there, isn't he? Putting his money and his body on the line.
He sees it as a stepping stone towards this future of personalized regenerative medicine.
So imagine a world where we can repair our bodies at the cellular level. That's mind-blowing.
It sounds like science fiction, but it's the cutting edge of where we are right now.
Yep.
And you know what's really fascinating? Johnson isn't just talking the talk, he's walking the walk.
Oh, how so?
He's taking a radical, data-driven approach to his own health. Imagine treating your body like a high-frequency stock market, constantly monitoring and adjusting for maximum performance.
That's quite the image. Tell me more.
Well, Johnson is famously data-obsessed. He collects thousands of data points on himself every single month.
We're talking what, like steps, sleep, heart rate, that kind of thing?
Sure, you've got your blood work, your sleep patterns, all the usual suspects. But he's also tracking things like his gut microbiome.
The bacteria in your gut.
Yep, even analyzing his cognitive function on a daily basis.
That is next level. I mean, who even knows how to interpret all that data?
Well, that's the really incredible part. He feeds all that information into algorithms that he's designed to optimize his health in ways we couldn't even imagine before.
It's like having a personal health guru, but instead of a person, it's an algorithm crunching numbers 24/7.
Exactly. And get this, Johnson's company, they started testing everyday foods, and the results, well, kind of scary.
Really? What did they find?
Shockingly high levels of heavy metals in a lot of products they tested.
No way. You mean like lead and mercury and all that?
Yep, arsenic, cadmium, the whole nasty bunch.
But how? I mean, where is this all coming from?
It's everywhere, honestly. Industrial pollution, traces of stuff used in fertilizers, even some packaging can leach heavy metals.
That's unsettling.
It gets worse. They even found this stuff in products marketed as healthy and organic.
So much for those premium prices.
Right. Turns out, just because something's organic doesn't mean it's heavy metal free.
So what's the solution here? I mean, short of becoming a hermit and growing all our own food,
Well, that's exactly the issue Johnson is tackling. He saw this gap in the market, a need for food you could trust. 100%.
and that's where Blueprint comes in, right?
Bingo. It's his line of ultra-pure food products, meticulously sourced and rigorously tested.
So it's not just about living longer, it's about living better, healthier.
Right on. It's about quality of life, making those years count.
Makes you wonder, what else does Johnson envision for this health-first future?
Well, he's got some pretty big ideas. He talks about a world where perfect health isn't something you chase after, it's just there.
The default setting, huh? Sounds pretty utopian.
That's the goal, right? Imagine a world where health isn't a constant worry, where we're free to focus on, the things that really matter.
I like the sound of that, but how do we actually get there?
Johnson believes it comes down to automation and sophisticated systems.
Okay, walk me through this.
He envisions this future where we have these AI-powered systems constantly monitoring our well-being.
Like a personalized health assistant always working in the background?
Precisely. And these systems, they're not just monitoring, they're making micro adjustments in real time, tweaking our diet, our sleep, whatever it takes to keep us in peak condition.
So basically, we'd be outsourcing our health management to algorithms.
In a way, yes. But think of the possibilities. We could be free from the burden of constant health anxiety. We'd have all this extra energy to focus on our passions, creativity, connecting with others.
It's a compelling vision, I'll grant you that. But isn't there a risk of becoming too reliant on these systems? What about human connection, the power of choice?
Those are all valid concerns, absolutely. And Johnson acknowledges that there are complexities and potential downsides to consider.
Like what? Give me some examples.
For starters, who controls these health managing systems? And what about individual autonomy in a world where algorithms are calling the shots? These are questions we need to be thinking about now before we get too far down this road.
It's like opening Pandora's box, right?
Yeah.
Once we unleash these technologies, there's no going back.
Exactly. But even just having these conversations, raising these questions, it's a step in the right direction.
It's about being mindful, being proactive, and shaping the future we want to see.
Absolutely. It's about more than just extending lifespan. It's about redefining what it means to be human in an age of radical health advancements.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, what would it actually feel like to live in a world like that? Where your health is just taken care of.
It's a complete paradigm shift, right?
Yeah.
No more constantly chasing the latest health trends or worrying about every little ache and pain.
Imagine waking up every day with the energy and vitality you had in your 20s.
And not just for a few years, but for decades, longer than we ever thought possible.
It's like, what if all the things we accept as inevitable, the decline, the diseases, what if those are just problems waiting to be solved?
Exactly. It's about challenging our assumptions about aging and what it means to be human.
So where do we even begin? Someone's listening to this, they're intrigued, but maybe a little overwhelmed. What can they do, like today, to start moving towards that vision?
Well, Johnson's a big believer in self-awareness as a starting point. He talks about treating your health like a data stream, constantly looking for those subtle signals your body's sending you.
Instead of waiting for something to go wrong, it's about actively looking for ways to optimize how you feel and function every single day.
Exactly. And you don't need fancy biohacking equipment to do it either.
Right. You don't need to go install a hyperbaric chamber in your basement.
Exactly. Start with the basics. Pay attention to your sleep. See how different foods make you feel. Figure out what helps you manage stress.
It's about becoming the CEO of your own health, right? Taking control and making choices that support your well-being.
Precisely. And the small steps you take today, they could pave the way for even bigger leaps in your health and longevity down the line.
This deep dive into Bryan Johnson's world has definitely given us a lot to think about. From redefining what's possible with technology to challenging our own beliefs about aging, it's clear that the future of health is full of surprises.
And it's a future we can all be a part of shaping.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something I want you to keep in mind. What if living a longer, healthier life isn't just about adding years, but about expanding the possibilities within those years? Think about it.